Tell us what happened on 9/11/2001.
9/11 was like any other day. I worked in the World Trade Center, and so I tended to get to work real early, 7 o'clock in the morning. And there were, very few people that would be there that time of the morning. There was a woman who was handicapped from another firm on the floor that I had a nodding acquaintance with, and we would the elevator up to the 48th floor, tower 2, and then we would find that our day had started. On that particular day, I was in my office and I heard this bang, and I looked out the window and instantly could see business papers flying by the window. And on the 48th floor, you wouldn't expect there to be business papers flying past the window. So especially since it happened that quickly after the explosion. So I knew that something important had happened. And I yanked my computer into my bag and started walking around the floor. The people out of the cubicles to say, hey, this is a real thing, we really need to actually leave. And, arguing with people that wanted to stay in their offices and such. In the center of the building, there were the stairwells that everybody's seen on the video and the stories about it. The stairwells were lined up for 2 people to pass. And we were at the top of the stairway, and this handicapped woman from across the way, from the other firm, was standing there with her friend. She had a cane, and she had one of those shoes that's 6 inches tall. And she was reluctant to get in the stairs. She said, I can't go down all these stairs. I said, well, we really have no choice. We've got to go. So I'll go behind you. And started down the stairs. It was very, very slow progress. People were streaming from the floors above us, streaming around us, going down the stairway. And at this time, we did not know what was going on. We knew something had happened. We looked out the window and saw the other building was on fire. But there was nothing going on in our building, but we figured it was a good idea to leave. As I said, we were on the 48th floor. And when the announcement came, we were going very slowly because of this woman's inability to walk real fast. And when the announcement came, everything's fine in your building, go back to your office. We had only gone down 8 floors. We found out later from checking with folks after the fact that most everybody else was almost out of the building already. We'd only gone down 8 more floors. We were on the 40th floor. So I looked at her and I looked at her friend, and we saw the people that were from the upper floor streaming around us. We were kind of blocking things up. I said, look, we said our building's fine. Let's take the elevator. So we grabbed one of the doors that led to another floor that you couldn't actually get into unless you had a card key, but something was coming out of it, so we grabbed that. Walked in and we called the elevator. On the elevator, there were like 3 or 4 other people in the elevator at the time. Went down to the lobby, and she's walking out with her friend, and I said, are you guys okay? She said, yeah, we're fine, thanks a lot. And at this point for our building, it was pretty much a fire drill. Nothing critical, was going on there, except that everybody was leaving, everybody was talking about their weekend plans, and blah, 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 they're going down the stairs, and it's all this, jovial sort of atmosphere. Knowing that some crisis was going on next door, we didn't know the extent of it or why it was caused. Thought perhaps, some gas explosion or something. Well, as these folks left, I walked out 30 yards through the front doors, and I turned around to look up to see what was going on. And at that instant, the plane came through my building.
Oh my God.
So there I was standing on Liberty Avenue, or right below the building, looking up, seeing this explosion. And instantly, your brain is a funny thing. My brain instantly flashed to the movie Die Hard. Which was this movie because the explosion that they have where it explodes inside the building and all the flame and stuff spurts out all 4 sides of the building.
Yeah.
That's exactly what it looked like. And then, as I said, the brain is a very funny thing because all of a sudden, without my thinking about it, there was this voice in my head saying, you need to run now because all that burning stuff is going to fall down. So I ran across the street under the scaffolding for a building that was under construction. All the burning debris rained down on the street. And at that point, the whole world was changed. Everything was in shambles, and I kind of struggled up the corner to the next corner, made a turn, and then I realized that this stuff was going to be on the news and everything, so that people needed to know what was going on.
That's up near the United Nations building, isn't it?
Exactly. And so now the cell phones are still working. So I went into the lobby of her building. It's a huge office building as well. And I got on their internal phone and I told her to come downstairs. I'm right downstairs. So she came downstairs and I said, get in the car. She goes, well, I left my computer on. I said, get in the car. You are half a block away from the Israeli embassy and you're down the block from the UN. Get in the car because we didn't know what was going on.
Yeah.
And we hopped in the car, we went home, and we went to pick up the dog in the Bronx where we live, and we decided that since none of the phones and stuff was working, we'd go to our weekend place in Pennsylvania to go on a different electrical grid. We did that, and on the way, we hear on the radio, there's an attack on a plane crash in Pennsylvania.
Oh my gosh.
So at that point, we didn't know what was going on. And as it turned out, I'm a computer software type of guy, and the company that I work for, all the backup data for all of their employee information, the phone numbers, the names, and all that, were all stored in computer servers that were in the World Trade Center. So there was no way for anybody to look up anybody's phone number or address to see who, to make sure everybody got out. And on my laptop, I had a copy of that database. Unfortunately, when I yanked that laptop out of off my desk, I didn't take the power cord. And by the time we got to Pennsylvania, the battery was dead. So there was no way for me to get into the computer to get people's names and such. So I called the manufacturer of the computer, and I said, I need a power cord. And the lovely and talented salesperson or service desk person on the other end said, well, I'll send one out Federal Express to you. I said, well, there are no planes are flying. So we can't do that. What they did was they contacted a person in my area that had the power cord that I needed and called him. And he called me, and we arranged to meet, and we met in a parking lot of the Holiday Inn down the street, and he handed me his power adapter and said, God bless, And I was able to look up the names of people, and we were able to contact them and found out that everybody on my floor had gotten out. We didn't lose anybody on our floor. The company has many people who live on the higher floor, work on the higher floor of the tower 1, and we lost 100 people. That's my experience of